go see if anybody sold one with the word damage in the title. Well, it's court day today. The special topic for this video this week is courthouse postcards. We all see those, along with the post offices and the courthouses and stuff. I see them all the time. But what are they worth? Are they worth anything? We're going to work through that here with the special topic. First, I'm going to go through about 11 cards I sold on eBay. And then with the poll, a question came up, I think in a chat somewhere. It was going back and forth, so I took this question from that conversation. Do you put the word damage in your title of your listing? What's the pros and cons of that? Then I got some viewer comments to go over at the end like normal and stuff like that. And one of them I'll show you how I'm going to expand my shelves because I'm running out of room. I got about 5 boxes left. So this year I'm going to have to expand some more shelves. I have to get the wife to put them back up because she does such a great job. But I'll show you what my plans are for that. Let me go ahead and get started on these what solds. It won't take long. But I like to show the what sold because I have such a large variety of cards. You get to see what people are buying. Not as much as the price sometimes, but what you mean you really listed this card and it sold? That's the type of things you want to look for, is when you're looking through the boxes of cards at an antique mall or a show, or you're going to buy a lot of cards. These what solds is what helps that, so you can kind of see. And the special topics also helps you look through those boxes a little quicker so you'd be more productive. But the first card I sold, it sold for $5. I must have sent an offer on it. It's the Hotel in Bahamas. It's one of the Bahamas cards from the Mary Martin auction. And it's just a divided back, probably 50s, around there. It's sold for $5. Next one is 2 cards, and it's the naval ship. It sold for $9 total for the order. And this is one of the prints. This is the Toledo, a submarine, and it's a colored print. And that's the name right on the back there. But this is ones that the club printed. And this is another colored print of the Olympia. Lighter cardstock, but that's the Olympia. And they printed those, the club did, and I have a whole table full of them. And those 2 sold for $9 total. Next one is Chinese House on the Estate of Mrs. O.H.P. Belmont, Newport, Rhode Island. Chinese House. It's a divided back 1921, and that sold $4 to $5. I didn't find a lot on these, if I remember right. There wasn't a lot for that lady. But here's another example of selling more than one card. And what these naval ships do for me is I sold this one. This is the Curtis, USS Curtis, and this is the publisher card. This wasn't printed. You notice the publisher. They did buy cases of these types of standard cards that are chrome, just normal cards. I got boxes and boxes in the closet of these. So this is the Curtis. And then he also bought this image of the Curtis, AV-4, and this is a print. So he bought that one, and both of those are $9. So he bought more than one card and he got the 15% discount. Next one is some kind of globe. Glass globes. 1, 2, 3. They're globes of the earth. And it has a globe inside of a globe. So it's a globe. So $4 to $5, just a chrome card. Stuff like that, that's unique, but it's a chrome. I figure $4 to $5. Someone collects stuff like that. It wasn't a $10 card. Next one is one of these photos. It's on photo paper, that's why it's got a little curve. This is the Ticker Oga CV14, circa 1945. It's a regular photograph. It's not a postcard, and that'll be mailed out in label and a stamp at my risk because eBay standard envelope doesn't do that, and that sold for $8.55. Next one's a railroad depot, Narragansett Pier Railroad Company. $4 to $5, chrome card. That's the name right there. $4 to $5 for a railroad depot. Didn't comp out real high. Next one is the Hotel Riverside, Cambridge, Florida, white border card. Could be a divided back, probably a divided back with the date on there, but looks like a white border. And it's posted. And that's sold for $4 to $5. Next one is a Disney card, one of those Disney cards from Mary Martin. This is a Disney World, so that's newer than Disneyland. So remember, Disneyland was first, and then Disney World. This is the World Village. Come authentic replica of the 19th century riverboat, Empress Lily. So that's sold for $5.99. Most of the Disney cards I get, I price up, and then when I send offers and stuff, people do buy them. This is the Split Rock Lighthouse. Not for sure where it is. Lake Superior, Minnesota. Split Rock Lighthouse. Vertical card. Unposted. $4 to $5. So that's all the cards. I only do eBay now, and that's it. So I still have about 260 cards working on expiring. I'm just letting it go. I'm not really monitoring this close. I got like a 2-day shipping now on there. The other day I went in there, and like I said, I got some really good cards I put in that scene. So there were some RPPC naval ships that sold for like $30, and I said, oh, I better ship these out. So I'm starting to move away from Etsy, and once they're all out, I'm pulling the cards out. I got about a quarter of them out now. But cards like those RPPCs, I'm just letting them expire, and if they sell, I don't have to pull them, and I get my 20 cents worth. And I'm not in a real hurry, because once they expire, there's no more fees. I'm off a hip and everything else, so I'm just basically eBay only. All my toys from the toy store have been moved over to the postcard store now too. I only kept new ones. I kept about 60 listings, about 160, 140 items, because there's multiple quantities of them, and everything else is going to the flea market. I went through each one, redid the pictures, redid the titles, looked at the comps and all that, and put them into a category underneath the postcard store, just to close down the toy store. And that toy store, I found out if I take the eBay toy store, I'll keep the ID, but I'll close the store. And since I have a contract until November, if I close it now, there's a charge of like $65. But if I close it, I'll save almost $160 throughout the year. So I'm just waiting on a couple transactional things to go on, and I have an email address I need to change a few things. But I should have that closed down by the end of this month, and it'll save me another $160 a year. I'll take a hit, but in the long run, that's what I'm doing this year, is I'm looking at a year thing. So I'm already over my $1,000 savings goal that I did with my goal video. If you haven't watched that, check that out. It tells you what I'm going to do. I'm already over my savings. I'm almost at $1,400 savings for the year by doing some other things. And I'm going to do an update in a video on just where I'm at. And doing $70 a day in sales, I think I'm about 96, somewhere in there. But my number of cards have went down. I've been usually do 20 average for the year, or a little above. But I'm down to like 11 and 12 cards a day for this time of year. Isn't really concerning, but my average sale prices went up almost 75 cents. So the offset of the cards and stuff. So everything seems to be working. I'm still okay, but this year is kind of an experimental year. And I think after the 6-month mark is where I'm really going to start seeing a lot of the savings that I had. Check that video out on the goals, and you'll see how I'm slowing down a little bit. I'm not racing to the top, racing to the bottom. I'm just doing what I do. But that was what sold. Now let's get into the special topic, courthouses. If you ever look through a box of cards, or you bought a lot, or you go anywhere, you're going to see courthouses. There's older ones, newer ones, county courthouses, district, federal courthouses. It's just all over the place. And people ask me, what are they worth? They're worth what people pay for it, is the usual thing people say. But there is some out there just like normal that are probably a little bit more if you do your research, and there's some that most of them are normal, is what I found. And I did a sell-through rate on them also. But I didn't really find history again on just courthouse postcards. Why did they put courthouses on there and stuff like that? So I went out and grabbed some facts to educate ourselves a little bit on courthouses. And while I do that, I'll show you some pictures of some courthouses of postcards I found. A courthouse, or court space house, is a building that is home to a local court of law, and often the regional county government as well. Although this is not the case in some larger cities, the term is common in North America. Courts decide what really happened and what should be done about it. They decide whether a person committed a crime and what the punishment should be. They also provide a peaceful way to decide private disputes that people can't resolve themselves. The King William County Courthouse is a courthouse located in the town of King William County, Virginia. The original courthouse structure was constructed in 1725. 1725. It is the oldest courthouse building in continuous use in the United States. I'm wondering how many upgrades that has gotten over time. There are currently 687 courthouses in the U.S., but that list can change. But when I looked up the facts, 687 courthouses. Standing 29 stories tall, the Thomas F. Ingleton is the largest single courthouse in the United States and the main office for the United States District Court for Eastern District of Missouri. So 29 stories tall for a district courthouse. So those are some facts about courthouses. We've all been on, maybe on jury duty or stuff like that. But it's kind of the central place. We have a very large courthouse in our county here, and it's not far from my house here. And I grew up in the area around it. There's a lot of older postcards and older pictures of the county where they had a lot of elections. They had a lot of picnics on the lawn in the early 1900s and stuff like that. It was a central place, and they kind of built it up. And it's inside, it's really neat. A lot of money was put into the stone artwork and the dome. But it's the central point for our county for courts. Okay, that's good about history, Mark. But what about selling these things? Are they worth anything? And do they sell? Well, the best way I found to gauge postcards and resell is to do sell-through rate. Sell-through rate is basically sold divided by listed times 100, and that'll give you a percent. So let's take a look what I did. So I just basically, the easiest query in the world was postcard space court space house. So postcard courthouse, I put into eBay, and I said, give me all the listings that are sold with this. And it said there's 2,100 listings out there that's sold. I said, well, that seems a little low. Then I unclicked sold, and I said, give me just the listed. There's 58,000 courthouse postcards with that query, postcard space courthouse, out there. So 2,100 divided by 58,000 times 100 gives you a 4% sell-through rate. You're saying, what does that mean? Well, you got to bounce it up against other postcards, other queries that you do. And I've done these, and I will update these every once in a while, but they don't change that much from month to month. It'll change quarterly or every 6 months. I'll run them through my whole list and just update my spreadsheet. But Postcard Idaho is 9%. That's kind of up there. Disney's 22. I think McDonald's, or Disney is 12. McDonald's is like 22%. The mermaids are up in the 40s. The Wiki Watching Mermaids. So Idaho's 9%, Nevada's 8%, California, Postcards California with 270,000 postcards, 6%, and Massachusetts with 140,000 postcards out there, 4%. So the courthouse postcards fall at the bottom of the ladder on the first and second rung. So they're not a top highly sold sell-through rate card. The key to these, I think, is the town, the county, and the state, and the age of the card. I think that's what's really going to pull these. And I always look at courthouse comps, and same with post offices. I just throw them in the eBay or WorthPoint real quick, just to see if it goes over the $4 to $6 mark. If something pops out, I'll either do it right then, or I'll set it in my special folder to go and dig in a little bit. Maybe there's something happen at that courthouse or something like that. But I don't stop my listing and just go down that rabbit hole. I set it to the side, and I'll do all the rabbit holes at once. But 4% sell-through rate is about where I thought it would be. But there are some special ones out there, like always with postcards. But let's take a look at some of the ones that are sold that I found. I found these three for the sold high. And we go through the sold high, sold low, and then I also look at what people are listing these things for on high and low. A lot of people say, well, the listing doesn't mean anything. Yes, it does a little bit, to give you an idea of how other postcard people are thinking when they list postcards. And it's always the extreme. So you want to be careful. It just gives you a caution thing. The first one here is Independence, California, antique postcard courthouse circa 1900. Was in an auction, sold for $75 plus $5 shipping, so $80 for that postcard. Now, is it an RPPC? I can't really tell, but that just goes to show you that county or that courthouse might have been something special. But it only had one bid, so one collector was looking at that. Didn't have a lot of people, so the sell-through rate is probably not high, but the price was good. If it had more bids on there and more people bidding, maybe I would think the sell-through rate on that card would be a little higher. Then the next one, circa 1920, Rutherford County Courthouse, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Took a best offer of probably about 25 bucks. Looks like a white border card. Rutherford County Courthouse. Got that one seller. How long did it sit? I don't know. Is something sold right when you listed it? It sold right away. Was it in a saved search? You never know. But those two sales are pretty good. Then you got a 1924 view of the Leap Year County Courthouse. Notice he's got, all of these have the names of the counties or the city and the state, and they also put a year in there. So is that something we need to do with the courthouses, is put a little bit more keywords in there to get these lower sell-through rate things to go? 30 bucks. And that's a vertical card, looks like a white border. So those three cards are not bad. How long did they sit? I don't know. But so there is hope for courthouse postcards. But then when you go over to the low ones, and you got the Sandusky County Courthouse, Fremont, Ohio, they got the same keywords and everything in there, but it didn't really sell. Only $1. Buy it now, 75 cents. Maybe he only had it listed for $1. He didn't go and do the research, because these other ones are selling. Then Scott County Courthouse, Benton, Missouri. Old autos. So they put keywords in there, but he only sold it for $2.60. Free shipping. Not much left there. And that's a newer chrome card. Swain County Courthouse, Bryson City, North Carolina. $2.75. So what's the difference between the other ones? The other ones were a little older. They were white border on the high side. These are linen, chromes, stuff like that. So there might be a little bit there, but the keywords were in both titles. But I think the people didn't price it. They priced it low. And one thing, they're a little newer. Maybe the county is not good. Maybe they did the comps. So courthouses, just like a lot of things, you might have to play with them. But let's go take a look at what people are listing these things for. I found some listings out there. I found some extreme ones. Again. And I usually do the extreme ones when I see one that's way up there and stuff, and I do a little sheet here for extreme. This one was pretty extreme, $2,500. I wanted to find out, and the reason I did extreme too is okay, what's going on with this? Why is this one so much? Is there something special with this courthouse that I need to remember? So if I ever see it, a lot of them don't work out. Odanga Courthouse, Syracuse, New York. So Syracuse is a good name. That's in my head for looking at postcards. But he says Washington stamp. I got that on my mind. The next time I talk to Tom, our Dear Doctor expert and stamp judge, I'm going to ask him about these Washington stamps, just like I did to Ben Franklin's, and see what he thought. It might be just the same thing. It's nothing special. But this guy wants $2,500 plus $1 shipping. If I was getting $2,500 for a postcard, I sure in the heck would not be setting it for $1 shipping. I mean, it doesn't make sense there. If I was a buyer, that would just turn me off right away, because it doesn't make sense. Charge me $2,500 and charge me, if I'm going to pay $2,500, at least charge me for priority or something on there. I'll pay it if I'm willing to pay $2,500. But to get $1 shipping, that doesn't make sense to me. So that's caught my eye. Another thing caught my eye is that I went out to Worth Point and I found two listings for basically the same card. They're a little different, but they're the same title. The ones I found were colored, it looks like. The Onondaga Courthouse, I found one sold in 2021 for $24, and this guy's asking $2,500. Maybe he put an extra zero, he didn't mean to. I doubt it. Then the next one is vintage, circa 1940s, Anoka Courthouse, This sold in November 14th of 2021 for $9.45. Where did he come up with the 2,500? Is there something special with that Washington stamp? Does anybody know? I don't think so. I think it's a normal stamp. But please let me know, if all the stamp guys out there, because you know me, I'm not in the stamps. Nothing against them. I just never went down that rabbit hole. I got so much stuff, other things I like to do. But that's what I'm talking about. You find those extreme pricings doesn't mean you have gold. You have to go out and do the research. It only took me a few minutes to go to WorthPoint and type in the same title, and I found these two cards. They're not the exact cards, but they give me a good comp. Average $12 and then $24 and $2,500 with $1 shipping. Maybe I, as a seller, is why I saw the $1 shipping, but I think a buyer would see that too. Then the other extreme thing is I found this one. This is just a normal chrome card of Iola, Kansas, Allen County Courthouse, posted chrome. Free shipping, $4.45. And I said, well, what's so special about this one? Is there something with that county? So I went out and looked. And I found one on eBay. There was none sold. I only found another one listed. There was no sold for this card in WorthPoint or eBay for that title. I found this one for $5.99. Exact same card. So where did he get $4.45? Are they just throwing it out there and see what sticks? They're chrome cards of a newer courthouse. That's why it caught my attention. I thought there was something special with the town. So both of these did not register as, I'm going to look for these two towns. There's nothing special here. It's just people are not doing the research and they're just throwing garbage out here on listings. So that's the extreme pricing. Then we also get into the listed high and listed low. So here's one. It's called the Hancock County Courthouse, Bay, St. Louis. I didn't really know what Bay, St. Louis, Mississippi. I guess it's a town, because it's in this other one I found. This one is $99.95. Sounds like a blue light special at Kmart. $4.95 shipping. Now that makes sense when you put $100 there and you got $5 shipping, not $1. That doesn't turn me off on that one. But then I went out there and I found on eBay, there was none sold for this card with that name that I could find with the query, but I found one listed for $15. Then you get the next one is Antique 1908 Courthouse, and this is Grenada, Mississippi. Might be the same person. $74.95, $4 shipping. But I went out to WorthPoint and I found two of them sold. One sold in 2022 for $7.49. Then I found another one that sold in 2020 for $17.95. $74.95? There's no sold except those. So I don't think it's a $74 card. And I don't think the other one's a $99 card. That's how I do the homework. So it's going to go in the bucket of regular cards for me. But you got to check. You got to check the towns and the cities. That's what I do when something like that. Then you get over to the low side. This is Cochise County Courthouse in Tombstone, Arizona. $1.35. Tombstone is a name that hits my bell. I think it's Boot Hill Cemetery or something. But Tombstone is a name that maybe collectors like, and be something that I would not list at $1.35 with best offer, and they have a 15% sale on it. Why don't you just say, hey, I'll pay you to buy this postcard? Because that's what they're going to end up doing, or it's going to sit. Now I see that with a lot of photos here. This gentleman's got a lot of thing out there. If they got a scanner, they might do a little bit better, because the picture there could need a little bit of help. Everything helps. All the little things help. And I just noticed that picture there. A scanner, but maybe he's just a part-timer and doesn't want to pay for a scanner. But they could do a little bit more of that background there. I've seen it on some of the cards out there that didn't look real well. It should be kind of a plain to me, so the card kind of sticks out and you can see the edges and stuff. That's just me. I use the scanner. It gets the edges. The Epson does a better job with the edges than my Fujitsu. I use a Fujitsu a lot because it's wireless to my main PC, and the Epson is wired to my little small format PC over here on this computer, and then I use OneDrive. It all saves to OneDrive, and that's tied to all my systems, so it'll go over the same way. But sometimes it's whatever I got open or turned down. I have a Fujitsu, and I have an Epson, and I have the smaller one. And so either one I can use. Now, all white postcards like those prints, that's why I have the Epson for sure, is the image. But I try to use all my equipment I can. But they both do the same thing. The Epson does a better job with the borders. But you just want to be careful with all the listings when you comp them. Just because you see a listing out there for $99, check the solds. Listed is not sold. And you also want to look at completed and unchecked sold to see what's completed that didn't sell. So there's a little bit more, but if it's just an average Chrome card of a goat, I'm not going to spend the time to go out and do all the comp. It's a $4 to $5 card to me, and it's getting listed. If there's a special goat out there worth $1 million, so be it. I'll take a chance that there's not a special goat out there. But that's why I go through the prices. To sum up courthouses, they're very prevalent out there. There's a lot of them listed. Sell-through rate's only 4%. They're long tail, but there might be some special counties or states or something that you could get $79 for. If we go back, I go back there, $75, $29. So they are worth the time to look at the city on there, especially the older ones and stuff. So I would look for them. And I wouldn't say I would pass them up, but I wouldn't pay a lot for them. They're kind of in that category of average cards that you shouldn't pay a lot for. Even though if you do find one and you end up with a very good one, that was your risk you took. So if I'm looking through a lot of cards and there's a box of 1,000 cards and I see a whole sections of courthouses and stuff and there's 1,000 cards, I'm going to tell the guy $40, $30, $40 to start with. I'm not going to pay $100 for a box of courthouses knowing that they're going to sit. Now, if that box has other things in there and it brings that sell-through rate up a little bit in my head, I'll say, okay, I'll give you 10 cents a card, I'll give you $100. But if I see a box just full of courthouses, that would not be my first grab. But they're nice to fill. They're nice fillers to have them in your store and stuff like that. It's kind of like the presidents, those 700 presidents, Jimmy Carter, Reagan, all those things. Those are just going to be sprinkled through, and those are average cards. There's not a lot of work to them. I know they're $4 to $5 cards. There's some that I know that are a little bit more, but I'm just going to list them at the $4 to $5 mark and just move them. Those are cards that are move and pay the bills. Let them buy those cards. If they want to buy 10 Jimmy Carters, that's where I'll make my money on that lot. I have hardly anything into those. So those are filler cards, and that's the same way I treat courthouses. Who knew? Now I just want to let you know also, I'm working on doing a lot of changes this year, and one of them was closing down my toy store on eBay, and that had a URL of shellmarksales.com that I'm getting rid of also. But the problem was my email that I have and everything goes through that URL and it's forwarded to my email. So before I get rid of the URL in the toy store, I had to do some changes to my email. So this is our email address now. So if anybody sent me emails, so at the end of March, my old email address won't work anymore when that shellmarksales.com goes away. It's contact@SMPostcards.com. Very simple. And I'm trying to put some stuff in there, mark at contactsales.com. But I needed to, that was another, whenever you make changes, it's like dominoes. You press one domino and things start falling. And that's one thing I caught on there. So at the end of March, and there I've changed almost everywhere that I could find so far. And I'm watching emails coming in to see where else I need to change it and stuff like that. One of the things is when I went into eBay and I changed the email address in my postcard store, and I did that over 24 hours ago, and I'm still getting emails coming into my old email box. I'm sitting there, okay, I know it takes a while to propagate sometimes through all the systems, but I just can't find any other place to change this email address. So I'll let you know how that works out, but it's driving me crazy. I look through every menu in eBay. I'm sitting there, click, 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 opening stuff up. You got to put your ID in to get to certain things, and I just cannot find it. So I'll just see what it does, and I'll give it a couple days and see what it does on there. But it was driving me crazy. You go down those rabbit holes, you just can't get out sometimes. But the next thing on our list, we did the what sold, I did a little special topic on courthouses. It's the polls. I always, in this section here, I can change around. I think I got coming up, I got some other stuff I've been tracking, and I got about enough data. I think that's going to be in the next video on there, so it won't be a poll. So I try to put stuff here, but the polls are real important as well because it gives you insight to me what other people are saying. This poll was interesting. During a chat, conversation somewhere, there was pros and cons about putting the word damage in a title. I'm going to go through and tell you what the stats are on this poll, and then some comments that came in on the poll, and I have some examples that could throw the pros and cons around. Do you put the word damaged in your title? All right, my opinion, this is my opinion, and it goes against some other people that were in the conversation. When I'm looking for something on Amazon or eBay or whatever, and it has the word damage in there, I'm not clicking on it. It won't even get me in there. I'm not even going to look at it because I don't want to deal with it unless I'm looking for a great deal or a part off of it. So to me, no, I don't put the word damaged in the title. I at least want them to open the door and come in and look at the listing. Put it in the condition statement or the description is where I put it. That's my opinion. So 8% of the people said yes, they do put damaged in their title. 87% said no. 5% was other. So 87% of the people I feel is not like on my side of the fence, where are thinking kind of like I am, and 5% are not. There's other people that say, well, you want to be truthful with your customers. Yeah, it's in the condition statement and description. So if I have this postcard here, this is the Barbara Fritz Monument, Frederick, Maryland. It's a linen card, and it's got a little bit of damage on the back, some stuff. These I usually don't mention because they can see it in the photos, but say I wanted to mention the damage on the back. I would not put that in the title because I want them to click to the card and see the card, and then in the condition statement, if I want to put in there, I would just put album tear on back, album glue on back. That's all I would put in there because most people understand postcards. If I have a corner that's missing, say it was missing a corner up here, I'll say corner tear top left. If there's a tear in the top, I'll say tear top middle. If there's pinholes in it, I'll say pinhole top right. If there's a paper tear, coming off color tear, I'll say paper tear bottom left. And that's all I do. I don't put a big description in there and stuff, but it just lets people know that it's there. Even if they get it and it's more bad than they thought, I will refund them. They're looking at a flat picture on a computer and they're making a decision to buy. So I'm not worried about it. I don't get that many returns. So I don't put the word damage on the title. I do put it in the condition statement or in the description. And just short words. But the comments that came in, that dude, here's one, and he's kind of straightforward with this one. Just my humble opinion. But I feel like if you use words like damaged, broken, cracked, torn, etc., you might as well put don't buy this in big, bold letters. So he's standing hard saying, no, don't do it. Our job is to sell them, so to that end, we want to accentuate the positive. Some people think it is somehow dishonest or wrong in some way, but those people don't sell things. And if they do sell things, they don't usually sell a lot of things. So he's pretty straightforward saying don't do it if you want to sell your item. And that's his opinion. A deal finder, if the card is more than age worn, say a crease or a bad stain, I note it in the description. I do not rate the cards. So he doesn't grade the cards. There's not like a rating, very good, bad, mint. Those are subjective terms that I stay away from. I never say this card's mint, because my mint is different than your mint. My very good is different than your mint. I hate those item specifics where it asks you if it's very good or good and stuff like that. I just hate it because it's so subjective. I do not rate the cards as this could give the customer unneeded expectations of the item's condition. Yes, I don't put very small stains, slight stains. I'll put, like on action figures, I'll say edge wear from shelf storage. scuffing on bubble from age and shelf storage, shelf wear, rounded corners due to shelf storage, stuff like that. I never say slight dent in bubble or little dent, because little and big, it's very subjective. He puts it in the description. Biff Buffalo, I never put any condition notes in the title. If there is a moisture ripple, which wouldn't be seen with a scan, I'll note that in the condition field, otherwise the pictures say it all. His opinion. Thanks everyone, that dude, Deal Finder, Biff Buffalo, for doing that. Old and new treasures. I will note that any issues in the condition box and description box, sometimes I will circle the issue with a photo edit as well. So there's different ways. Some people use a finger. They'll say there's a paper tear on this lion card. They'll put a photo with they'll point to it. I think that's overkill. It takes a bit of time. If it's a more expensive card and stuff like that, you're going to get people to ask questions anyway, but that's another trick you can do. Thanks, Old Treasures. Then Steve Holton, I put that under condition on the listing. If you just use the word damage generically, it may make the buyer assume the worst and pass on. That's what it does to me. That's my opinion right here, what Steven's saying. If they actually view the card and read the description, then maybe they will consider buying it. So damage in some people's head is like a car wreck, and damage in other people's head is just, oh, I'll deal with it. So I want to get them into the listing on there and stuff like that. But thanks everybody for putting the comments in, because it helps me with this poll to see what the best practice is, because we define the best practice, not eBay and everybody else. It's what everybody's doing and getting the most payback for it. And remember, if you put comments into YouTube, I consider that public. So I might grab them out of there. If you want to send me something and don't want to be on here, just stick it in an email to contact@SMPostcards.com and just say don't put out. Will be great. I don't want to offend anybody, but I think sharing this helps everybody, and so far everybody I've done has been okay with it. But if you don't want to do that, and just send me an email, it'd be fine. I can repost your comment too if you send an email without your name on it in YouTube, if you'd like to do that. But I think comments in the videos and stuff really help people out, and especially for people, I see the common names here. These are the people that you want to go ask questions to. These are the people that are actively selling postcards. I've been doing, and Biff, Steven, that dude, maybe Old Treasure. They have thousands of cards. They've sold thousands and thousands. I think Steven sold 20,000 books. So read the comments so you can find out what these people are doing. You can get a lot of information. But back to I digress there. Back to damaged postcard. The word damage in the title. I'll get it straight yet. That's what the other people are saying. And I'm sitting there, you know what? After putting this little slide together here, I'm going to go see if anybody sold one with the word damage in the title. So I went out. I found these three. I found this. I found three of them. I think there was a little bit more. But here's one. Georgia, Alabama, Daughtry Courthouse. Damaged. Sold for 90 bucks. Interior lobby, hotel, damage, sold for 16 bucks. So the last one, it's in the title, but it's not damaged about the postcard. It's damaged what's in the postcard. I kept reading, I go, wow, there's a lot of these sold, but you have to read through them. This is Postcard, Illinois, Murfreesboro, Brown Shoe Company, plant exterior damage by some tornado or something. So people will put damaged in the title if it's talking about some disaster of a building or damaged car or damaged by tornado. So you'll see that as well. But actually the top two, $90 and $15, they did have the word damage in the title and it did sell. Opinions can go both ways, but I think what the majority of people are saying is it could stop people from getting into your listing. My opinion is the same. My recommendation is I would put it in the conditions description, and if it's too damaged, don't sell it. I don't ever do parts and repair. I did that one time, a couple of times, and they came back. People thought they were getting, they don't read. Well, if you think it's going to come back, don't list it. If I have a real bad damaged card, like this one, I probably will not list this one. I usually don't list this stuff. I try to stay away from it. I just don't want the conversations. it goes in a bucket I got underneath my desk, and when the bucket's full, I put it in a box, and I put it in my flea market trailer, and the guy picks it up when I start flea market. I think I got 3 boxes already for him for this year. And he'll give me $5, $10, $20. He'll look through them. I don't know what he does with them, but they're just damaged or ones that I don't want to list on there. And he said he's found a few good ones in there, but I already probably had them. But don't be afraid to put it in the condition statement description. But if you put it in the title, just be conscious that it could stop some people from doing it. Some have sold for good money with that in the title. It's up to you. But the best practice I see here, 87% said no, they don't do it. That's the poll. Thanks everybody for commenting. And like with every video, I do viewer comments. These come from all over. Now if you send me an email and say don't put them out there, I won't do it. But I try to pick them out, mostly from YouTube I think, and it does have the name in there. But the first comment, I got 4 of them here. Saving your paramedic saver, saving your army on dollar bills. Saving your army on dollar bills. That's a heck of a name. I see a future Coca-Cola postcard video coming up on your computer screen. Yeah, over on this side I have a little monitor. I got tired of putting the same stuff on there, so I just been putting the thumbnails as I do the videos. I just put the thumbnails that are coming up so you can see what's coming in the future. Kind of like at a movie theater when you see what's coming soon. And some of them I've already played. Gives a little change. And again, that's my computer I use for scanning and other things. It's a small format PC, and it has windows and everything like that on there. I do a little workstation here when I'm doing stuff on that. Vintage postcards for you. I think you have a lot of great general life advice on top of excellent postcard reselling advice. Just wanted to say that. Love watching videos. Thank you, Vintage Postcards. He's talking about, I think, the goals video, where I talk about my goals and how I'm slowing down a little bit this year. And I can actually tell you, it is such a relief to not sell on all the sites, streamline what I'm selling, setting a bottom number that I need, and watching that. It makes me feel like I got this big elephant on my back. It actually feels really good to do that. And I can do a couple things very well, but I can only do a lot of things well. And I've already cut my hours down because I don't have all this to do. I've straightened up the office, I've done a few things, got rid of this. A lot of stuff I just went to donation, or they're going to the flea market. It just made the focus so much better on there. Now with the life hacks, life advice, maybe not the best at that, but I try to show people what I've done and what I've achieved. Now Julie Norman has a postcard channel as well, and she sells postcards and other ephemera and stuff. So you want to check out Julie. She puts out different things about postcards, and we all do it a little different. So you want to watch all these different channels so you can put together the best practices and what you want. You don't have to do it what I say. You can now do what Julie says or Popeye says. Pick out the best everything. And then you become better than we are. And then we'll start watching you. Nice to hear your goals. I hope they go well for you. I think they will. I think they're set low enough, Julie and everyone, that I can meet them without really thinking. That's what I saw over last year. $70 a day, 14 cards a day, list 50 cards a day, cut my expenses down by $1,000. I've already met the $1,000. I'm about 11 or 12 cards a day right now, and I think it's just because of the first of the year. I'm about $96 a day so far, so I'm doing well. They're meetable. It feels good to get rid of that stuff. Moving away from toys is a good plan. Yeah, with things changing, postage going up, materials going up, harder to get stuff, storage and stuff like that. I think you're right, Julie. I think it was a good move at the right time. I could have been a little quicker. I think I should have been a little quicker on moving away, but I had years of building that up. It's taken me 2.5 years to bring it all to the point it is now. And there's so many challenges with it, plus you don't have the storage units. No. And the storage units weren't that big of a cost for me. Over where I live, they were all conditioned, air conditioning and heat, and they gave me a real good price over there. Do you think you'll ever expand your postcard inventory space? Funny you said that. So here's a picture of my shelves. There's over, in my office I have over 100,000 postcards quantity listed. and there's about 38,000, over 39,000 postcards listings with a quantity. That means I have multiples of cards over 100,000, all in this area right here, 5 steps from my desk. Each one of these boxes holds 700 to 800 cards. They're all sleeved, so each row of boxes shelved there on the left will hold about 9 to 10,000 cards. Well, I'm full. At the bottom, on my last shelf, I only have like 4 or 5 boxes left. That'll get me through most of this year, because you sell some and then I tighten them up and move them toward box 1, and I get free boxes. You know, the boxes will open up. But I see where I'm going to be probably about August. I'm going to need some room. So here's what I'm thinking of doing. Here's the other picture. Is I'm going to put a shelf up here, and that'll give me 14 more boxes, and that's about 9 to 10,000 cards. Also, I'll probably put another box closer to the ceiling, because those I don't need. I wanted to have a foot between the shelves so I could just reach in and grab the cards. Well, they being that high, I don't need to reach in. So I'm thinking about putting another set of 14 boxes closer to the ceiling above that one that doesn't have the 12 foot in there. So I'll have another 14 boxes, so that gives me 20,000 cards. And that should do me. That should be enough. So and it's easier when we're installing those first shelves to do the other ones at the same time. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I need 4 boards, and 3 times I need 12 brackets. And each bracket gets 2 screws in the wall, so I need 24 screws, and then one little screw goes underneath. And these are wood things on there. So yes, Julie, I'm going to increase my room, but I don't have to. I'm not in a hurry to do it because I have a little bit of space right now. But it has grown. But that will probably be it. That'll be another 20,000 cards space for that. So if I ever hit that number, but that won't be this year to hit that number. But thanks, Julie, for your comments, and go check her out at her YouTube channel. So Zalen MWS, when did you start seeing sales about every day? I get this question all the time from people that are starting out, or they're not seeing a lot of sales. When I started, I had the toy store and I had postcards in there and I was selling, but I had to sell them for first class. They weren't selling that well and stuff because no one's going to pay $4 to ship a $3 card, or a $4 card that I had. I finally decided I'm going to move over to 2 separate stores. I had a very big toy store, and then I went over and I opened a new store with just postcards. And it takes a while. The first month you can only list 20 things. You ask for more, and you ask for more, and ask for more. Finally, over time, I got it built to an anchor store. We were paying $300 a month for an anchor store. Then they made those changes where you can list up to 55,000, whatever, in the collectibles, and brought us down to $60 a month. So we had a $250 savings right there, $240. Well, during that time, you reach 1,000 a month, 2,000, 3,000. On the 1 to 3, 1 to 4, I was selling 3 to 4 cards a day, 5 cards, 1 card. It wasn't steady. The toys were filling, taking care of all the bills and stuff, and postcards were building, but it wasn't building as fast as I thought it should. But when I hit about 5,000 to 6,000 cards listed, it just like tripled. I don't know what happened. It just went up. So here I am, selling 3-4 times more than I was selling once I hit 5,000 to 6,000 cards. And ever since then, I get daily sales. I get sales all the time in postcards. And if it doesn't happen in the morning, it'll happen at night. It's just a nice, consistent flow after 5,000 to 6,000 cards. So keep it up. But it also determines on the type of card you get, your pricing, your titles, your pictures, all the best practices. That video with the 38 best practices I broke down from 2022 from all the polls and stuff can help you. To use eBay standard envelope to ship them to keep your shipping higher. Do you ship in 1 or 2 days? There's so many variables why your postcard will sell over others. As you build your postcard store and get a good variety in there, you get to a point where you want to promote it. So make sure you turn on your newsletter in eBay. It's on Seller Help under Store, newsletters, and make sure you're sending at least the newly listed things out once a week. So, what you want to do is drive and get followers. I think that's one of the biggest things. You need repeat customers. So once you get enough cards in there, if you got 10 cards, there's no reason to go out and promote a postcard store. You want to get a good variety, and cards people are looking for in there. Then you can start pushing it and get a footprint. Once you get a footprint hold and people know you're a good seller, you back up your stuff, you ship in 1 or 2 days, you communicate with them and stuff, they're going to start following you to see if you got any cards up there, if your prices are good, and followers. That's what I want to do, is build the followers, because those are your repeat buyers that are loyal to you. They're watching your stuff, they have saved searches, and your newsletter hits them and stuff like that. So that's what I think. How to get started is it's long tail on some things. Some cards you list are going to sell tomorrow because either you priced it wrong or they're just good cards. But if you put birthday greetings and all of that stuff up there, just plain Jane cards, no, you're not going to sell. It's going to take a long time. The sell-through rate is so low on those things. Now, if they're very ornate cards, special artists, stuff like that, different story. But you need to get some higher sell-through rate cards in there and mix it in with some average sell-through rates and just kind of get a mixture so you're hitting everybody. That's what I do. So thank everybody for the comments. Keep putting them in. It really helps out to look at everybody's comments and how they think about postcards on there. Now YouTube's going to show you a video here that they think you want to watch. It's right here. Go ahead and click and watch that one next. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.